Today we're going to look at this. This is a capture. It's a brand new tape. This is one that you can buy, new manufacture, not new old stock. And we're going to look at it. We're going to find out if it's any good. We're going to see what the music sounds like when it's recorded and played back. We're going to see what the test signals are like, my normal test signals, so we can tell not only if it's a good tape, but what it sounds like and what the results you can expect are going to be. So let's get stuck into it. There will be some music. We're about 2/3 of the way through, which is going to be, it's a very good sound test, but it's not a very good technical test because it's modern music with phasing and it's got some reverse sounds. You have to listen to it as a sound and not as a chord. Is that phasing part of the tape or whatever? Anyway, we'll deal with that when we get to it, and let's get stuck into it. The case has a very nice feel. It's got rounded edges. It's got a quality feel to it. It doesn't feel like it's going to snap as soon as you do anything with it. And let's have a look at the actual shell here. Now this shell, it's not got any screws in it. It's extremely clear plastic, and it feels nice. I mean, you can tell these things. Let's have a look at the actual tape, and it's got a very long leader on it. You can actually see that the leader is incredibly clear. It's just a leader, but you've got the metal plate to act as a screen behind the felt pad. So yeah, here we have the actual tape. Now you can just see coming through, and it's now it's that sort of greyish brown colour. This is a very good rendition on the camera. It is actually that colour in real life, or at least that's what it looks like under the lighting I've got it on. It is a dark brown. It's not a bright chocolate brown. It's a dark brown. It's like your Cadbury's Bourneville, not your Cadbury's milk. And let's have a look at this now. The actual case, the shell itself is, well, it's nice. It's rigid. It's not got any bend to it, and it does that bit all right. So no problem there. And let's have another look at the actual case and the J card. It's a nice piece of J card. I actually like the packaging on this. It's very nice. It's subtle. You don't need it to be bright and glary, because bright and glary doesn't actually indicate quality. This indicates quality. You can see here it's got the compact cassette logo on it, and it's got various other things, which is of course a good thing. I'm quite impressed. It feels nice in the hand. So we're going to have to get on to actually trying the thing out. But yeah, let's have a look at the tape pack and the spools. The spools have got a clear plastic and a solid plastic, black. So clear plastic on the outside to act as a guide. And the tape pack's been nicely put together, so it's nice and smooth. And so hopefully we're going to get some good results from these tapes. I have seen a review, and I didn't learn anything from that, so hopefully we can learn something from this. If you get something from this video, please like, subscribe. We need to increase the channel. Anyway, let's carry on with this. This is, now it does feel nice, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in my tape machine, and I'm going to rewind and fast forward it, make sure the head's clean, and then I'm going to do the signal tests. So here we go. The machine in question is going to be the TAC W1200. The reason I'm using this is because it means I can digital into it and I can digital out of it, giving consistent results. And I've used this for all my tests, so the results are comparable. What do I mean by comparable? It means it doesn't matter what sort of deck you've got, whether you've got one of those, or something more like this. The results that I get are comparable one tape to the other, which means that if your deck is better than mine, you will get a better result on a better tape than you will on an inferior tape. And if you don't believe me, go and have a look at this video, how they are the same but different. I'm going to rearrange it slightly this time. I'm going to play you some music, which is the normal, and then I'm going to play you the music, which is the electric synthesizer music, and you can hear that, so you can understand where the tape's coming from. And then we'll have a look at the figures and see if there's any correlation between what we're hearing and what we know is happening. And what I'll do is I'll do some A/B tests, so you can hear what was fed in and you can hear what came out, because some of these things are a little bit subtle, and I realise that people don't necessarily understand what we're looking at. So this one's going to be a little bit better in terms of understanding, but obviously there'll be chapters, so you can always fast forward over the bits you don't want to listen to. First off, we go for the Boof Ting. That's a good one, and that would show up things like wow, flutter, and similar noise ratio, and other sort of problems, but that's a good one. Next we'll listen to Patrikos, where we want to go. We'll do the 0 dB, and then we'll do the -20. I'll only keep it short, but it's important to hear them both. And now the -20. The relevance of the -20 figures is that's what manufacturers of tapes specify their specifications at. So when they say the fringe response, it's at -20 dB. What follows now is a tune called Pray by Anno Domini Beats, and it's from the YouTube library, but it's very good. It's very punchy, and this is why I chose it. But please don't try and listen for phase errors, because you will hear hundreds of them, because that's the way the music's made. I'll stop it there because it just repeats the same thing again, but if anybody's interested I can always put up a separate track with the full thing. But that's the way it sounds. If you turn that up, that sounds really good. Okie dokie, into the nitty gritty now. Let's go and look at some figures and facts and see if these are reflected in what we're hearing. At -75 dB, the silence, or put it another way, the noise, is quite good, so not a problem there. This is typical for type 1 Ferric. The 0 dB 1 kHz is fairly reasonable, and this is what it sounds like. For comparison, this is the original tone, and then it's followed again by the tape's tone. So now you can hear the difference between the pure tone and what the tape does to it. Onto the 3 kHz, now you can see this is looking a bit fluffier, so this is going to be a different sound again, but we'll play both. So this is the tape tone. This is the original, and then again this is the tape one. I think you'll agree that by listening to those two tones, you can see why the pitches are quite important, because they tell you what they're going to sound like. For completeness, this is what the two spectrums look like on the original tones that we've just heard. Ideally, that's what they'd look like when we played them back, but they're not. That's the 1 kHz -20, and this is the original tone, again followed by the recording. As you can hear, apart from a bit of hiss, there's not a lot of difference there. And now the 3 kHz, I'll do the same. I'll do the one, then the other, then the other. We won't bother with the spectrum on this because they'll be just as clean as the others were. But what you could hear there is what the tape does to a tone. And the higher level you record it at, the more it mangles it. There's an anomaly I'll be mentioning, and this time I'm going to bother showing you this and put it into context with the anomaly. These two tracks look nice and symmetrical. However, if you look closer, you can see there's a difference between the top trace and the bottom trace. And this is the frequency sweep, and you can see it on there as well. This is the 0 dB white noise. It looks quite reasonable. And this is the pink noise at 0 dB. It's looking good. This is the -20 white noise. And what the hell's happened here? But this is the pink noise, -20 dB. Where on earth do those dips come from? And they shouldn't normally be happening in the lower level recordings because they're meant to be better. On here you can see this is just the top track, the left track, and this is both of them together. There is a difference, but not enough to make a big worry at 0 dB. If we look at the -20 dB tracks separately, there's not a lot wrong with them. But put them together and you end up with this. So what's going on? I have a theory, but I don't really know, and if you've got any ideas, please put it in the comments below. Before everybody jumps to the conclusion it's a deck, look at this. This is the RTM Fox, which is the last tape done, and that's beautiful. I think that's the edge of the tape not running probably over the head. The tape was tapped, rewound, fast-forwarded, and used to actually make this test from new. The notches are out of the left track, which is the one that's on the edge. Okay, finally on to the bit you want to know about, the freeze response. This is absolutely astounding. This is giving it output up to 20 kilohertz. That's real, measurable output. And the output of -20 is even stronger, relatively speaking. Looking at this is the overdrive, and you can see it takes the overdrive quite well, but it's distorting anyway. What does that mean? Well, we'll give you a summary here then. It works quite well. It's got good freeze response. It starts distorting by the time it gets to 0 dB, but it doesn't get much worse if you drive it harder than that. But preferably don't get that high in the first place, because the rest of the specs are pretty good. The only problem is that slight riffle effect on the left channel, and we don't know what that's caused by. Well, as you can see, the results from this tape are excellent, with the exception of that slight error on the left channel. Not sure what that is, but I'm pretty sure that's what's causing the anomaly on the low level. But as you can see, the individual tracks are fine. The frequency response going up to 20 kilohertz, that's amazing. That's better than your average tape, that's for sure. These are available. I looked the other day. You can buy them, and you can buy the RTM Fox for about £4.30 on various suppliers. So yes, they are available. They are at that money. Well, they're better than your average tape, and they're going to be better than a new old stock that's deteriorated. Are they as good as they could be? Well, they're as good as they can be now, I would guess. Are they as good as some of the new old stock? Well, if you get an excellent new old stock, possibly not. But you pay your money, you take your chances. I think that overall they're a good tape, and that the results, you will not be disappointed. And with those freeze response values, I don't think you'll be disappointed at all. Although if you can hear up to 20 kilohertz, extremely good ears, or you're a superhero, one or the other. I don't get any money for doing this, by the way. Just thought I'd mention it. It's purely a case of finding out what works well in the machine, how to get the best from your tape. Is it one that you can bang hard, or is it one that you get the sweetest results by being gentle with it? If anybody's got any queries about any of this sort of stuff, just drop me a line, or put it in the comments, and I'll get back to you gladly. Not a problem. Anyway, that's it for now.